You grab your plate, you sit down at your desk, you scroll through your phone while you chew, barely noticing the food in front of you. This feels normal. It's how most meals happen now. But for almost the entire span of human existence, eating alone like this would have looked deeply strange, maybe even alarming to the people around you. For most of human history, a meal was never just food. It was a small, repeated act of survival that required other people to be present, and the less obvious the reason, the stranger this story gets. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham has argued that the moment humans learned to control fire and cook food, something bigger than nutrition changed. Cooking made meals take time. Meat had to be prepared, fires had to be tended, and that stretch of time, sitting together while food cooked, became one of the very first shared rituals humans ever built their social lives around. Wrangham's research suggests this wasn't a side effect of cooking. It might be one of the main reasons cooking reshaped human society at all. Here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. In small ancestral groups, sharing a meal wasn't just about being polite. It was often the clearest signal available that you were safe. If food is scarce and someone invites you to sit and eat with them, that's an enormous act of trust. It says, I have enough and I'm choosing to include you. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies, including long-term fieldwork among groups like the Hadza in Tanzania, have documented food sharing so consistently that some researchers consider it one of the most universal human behaviors ever recorded. Meat from a hunt didn't stay with the hunter. It moved through the group, meal by meal, obligation by obligation, building invisible threads of debt and trust that held communities together. Which raises a strange question. What if the reason eating alone feels a little uncomfortable to you, even now, has nothing to do with the food itself? Psychologist Robin Dunbar has spent decades studying how humans maintain social bonds, and one of his more surprising findings involves something as simple as shared meals. In his research, people who regularly eat with others report significantly higher levels of trust, closeness, and even life satisfaction compared to people who mostly eat alone. Dunbar's work suggests the meal itself functions almost like an ancient piece of social technology, a built-in mechanism your brain uses to measure whether you belong to a group. Think about what your body does during a meal shared with people you trust. Cortisol, the stress hormone that rises when you feel unsafe or alone, tends to drop. Oxytocin, associated with bonding and connection, tends to rise. Your nervous system isn't just processing calories, it's running a constant background check on whether you're safe, and one of its favorite signals for safety is other people eating beside you. Now compare that to solitary eating today. You're not in physical danger sitting alone at your desk with a sandwich, but some old part of your nervous system doesn't fully know that. It still runs the same ancient checklist. Is anyone here with me? Are we sharing this? And when the answer is no, day after day, meal after meal, something subtle shifts. Researchers studying loneliness and well-being have repeatedly found that frequency of shared meals is one of the strongest predictors of reported happiness across different cultures, sometimes rivaling income or even health status in how strongly it correlates with life satisfaction. That's a strange thing to learn about something as ordinary as lunch. There's a deeper layer to this too. In many hunter-gatherer societies studied by anthropologists, eating wasn't just shared, it was almost always public, visible, communal by default. Eating in secret or eating away from the group could actually draw suspicion. It raised questions. Why are you hiding your food? What are you hoarding? Some anthropologists have noted that the instinct toward transparency around food was so strong in small ancestral communities that hoarding or secretive eating functioned almost like a social red flag, something worth watching closely. Your ancestors weren't just eating together because it felt nice. They were, in a sense, constantly proving to each other that they weren't a threat to the group's survival. Which brings us back to your desk, your phone, your solitary lunch. None of that makes you antisocial or broken. It simply means you're living in a world your body wasn't built for. Modern life has quietly stripped away one of the oldest social rituals humans ever developed, replacing it with convenience, speed, and screens, without ever telling your nervous system the rules had changed. So, what happens if you eat with someone today, on purpose, without your phone, without rushing? Something in you that predates written history, predates agriculture, predates almost everything you'd call modern, quietly recognizes the moment. Not because you decided it mattered intellectually, but because for hundreds of thousands of years, that exact scene, food shared slowly with someone else present, was one of the surest signs you were safe. You grab your plate, and this time, instead of sitting alone at your desk, you sit across from someone else. You put the phone away, and without realizing it, you're doing the same thing your ancestors did around a fire long before anyone thought to call it a ritual at all.